should start off this video by saying that I'm not an artist in any way. I don't draw, I don't paint, I don't, animate. I don't do any of that stuff. So this is coming from a non-artist perspective of why I think AI art is bad, and it will actually make human art more valuable. But like I have noticed in the past 3 or 4 months of people and businesses using AI art. And it's not even like a slow rise. It's not even just like slowly. It feels like it went from zero to literally 100, and everybody in the world started using AI out of nowhere. And my main reason for hating AI art is not even like an environmental or like an ethical reason. Like, yes, those are arguments I care about, but that's not my main reason for hating it. My main reason for hating it is because it just looks bad. Okay, and I'm not even saying bad. It looks bad on a technical level. Like on a technical level, it looks fine. If you look at it for a second or two, it doesn't. You don't see anything wrong with it. But when you stare at it for like a long enough time, honestly, you could probably even stare at it for 5 seconds, and you're like thinking like, dude, something about this poster or this ad or this art, quote unquote, it just looks off. And the best way I can describe this, right, for anyone who uses Instagram, right, that Arby's takeover GIF is genuinely the best way to describe AI's art style, because like why is it that every AI ad, every AI poster or flyer or whatever, it looks the exact same? It literally, or it doesn't look the exact same, but the art style, it looks the exact same, and it looks like the Arby's takeover GIF. Like genuinely, it's so bad. You know, I was out eating at a restaurant with some friends, right? And we were eating, we were talking, doing whatever, right? And I kind of just see like the ads on the, or I guess the advertising on the TV or whatever, right? Like they had in the restaurant. Excuse me. And I was thinking to myself, like, dude, why does that 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 ad look so weird? I'm like, dude, this has to be with AI, bro. And the thing is, like, I don't understand why these small businesses, right? They're trying to use AI ads. Because if anything, because here's the thing, right? When I like noticed this like way more rapidly, I was like, dude, like, why would small businesses use AI ads? If anything, they should be the ones against AI ads and shouldn't be using it at all. But I feel like I've noticed in my life, I've seen so many small businesses use AI ads, maybe potentially more than like the billion-dollar companies. Like, and I'm like, dude, like, why would they do that? Right? And people like try to justify it with some like 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 bullcrap reason. They'll be like, oh, they needed to cut costs because they have small profit margin. And I'm like, okay, sure, right, but like, am I supposed to be like going to the restaurant or going shopping if I see an AI ad? All that makes me want to do is think like, dude, I don't like trust your business. And here's the thing: if a restaurant or like a shopping place they use an AI ad, right? That doesn't mean I won't go there automatically. But the red flag is certainly there. And I'm thinking like, if you're willing to cut corners on advertising, right? What's to say you won't cut corners in the actual product itself, whether it be the food, whether it be the clothing, whether it be the whatever product you sell, right? And it just doesn't make any sense, right? Because like, surely it can't be that much money to get someone like a graphic designer or like a artist of some sort, right, to draw something for you or to make something for you. Like, it can't be that much money, right? But apparently, if you just type in a couple words in ChatGPT, boom, you have an ad right there, boom, and then everything's great. Everyone will come to your restaurant. When in reality, it's really not the case. It's quite the opposite, actually. And like, and I know I just said, and like, so here's an example. So here's a good example I can think of, right? Coca-Cola, they had ran an ad back in Christmas, I believe. Uh, and it was just Coca-Cola ad. They're advertising Coca-Cola. It was like Christmas time, so they usually advertise in Christmas. And everyone noticed it was AI. And when everyone noticed it was AI, everybody hated the ad, right? People were like, dude, I missed the pre-AI internet. Pepsi has the perfect opportunity to make a funny ad. And guess what? Pepsi actually did make a funny ad. And guess what? They released an ad for the Super Bowl of this year, and they used the polar bear that Coca-Cola used many years ago. I don't know how long ago, and people liked it, right? Because people actually made the ad for Pepsi, right? And the reaction behind that Pepsi ad was spectacular. It wasn't just good; it was actually spectacular. Now, now when you look at it from an objective standpoint, right? Like, the Pepsi ad wasn't like anything that special, right? The Super Bowl Pepsi ad wasn't anything special. Yeah, it was cool because they used the Coca-Cola bears that Coca-Cola used before. That made it cool. But besides that, it wasn't really special in any way. But Why was the reaction behind the Super Bowl Pepsi ad spectacular? The reason why is because Coca-Cola used AI in their ad. And when you have two choices, right? Like let like when you have two choices, right? You have a company that made an ad with AI versus a company that made art with humans. Guess what? They're gonna take the ones with these humans every single time. They're, because why would I want to trust? Because why would I be appealed to something a an AI made versus something that an actual person or group of people made? Why would I ever choose the AI ad over the ad that people make? There's no reason for me to. There's actually no reason for me to at all. And I feel like these companies, these small businesses too, especially, right? They're just shooting themselves in the foot when they use AI, right? Because basically everybody hates AI, right? Now some people hate it like more than others. Some people hate it for different reasons, you know. I'm not like completely against AI, you know. I can see some uses to it, but when it comes to the arts, when it comes to making ads or whatever, that's something AI should stay out of completely. And and it makes me wonder, like is this going to get worse before it gets better? Because at a certain point, right? If AI is just getting shoved down my throat, the one time I see human art that someone actually made, they put actual effort behind it, I'm going to value that art much more than I possibly would have had AI never been made. And that's the funny thing too, right? I think the more people actually make or quote unquote make AI art, right, the more people will actually value human art. When I'm on Instagram, right? Whenever I'm scrolling reels, whatever, right? Anytime I see AI art, which is kind of rare, but anytime I do and I notice it's AI, I'm just like just I don't care about it, right? And then sometimes I'll get art somebody made right after, right? And that art looks so good, even if it might not be as good as I actually think it is, right? It looks so good because guess what? I've been getting AI art shoved down my throat without, and I'm just think it just makes me like not want to puke, but it makes me like just gag and think like, dude, I don't want AI art, right? I want art that somebody actually made. They put time, they put effort, they put their blood, sweat, and tears behind it, right? And I think what makes human art so valuable is the fact that it can be imperfect. Now, AI is pretty imperfect, is also imperfect, but for the wrong reasons, right? It's imperfect because it's trying to chase perfection, but it can never be perfect, no matter how good it is. People know that they can't be perfect, right? Even if you can be good, you can be great, you can be spectacular, but you can never be perfect, right? There's always going to be some flaw in the art you make if you're an artist, and especially if you're a beginner artist, it's not going to look good, right? But the time and effort that you put into developing your creative skills, right? It will always outdo that of someone who types in a prompt into ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever and try to make AI art. You know, it's gotten to the point now that I think actually now, if anything, now is a good time for like if anybody wants to draw, if anybody wants to make art themselves, right? But they're kind of scared because of AI art and also the fact that there's experienced artists out there. Like the thing is like now if you want to start like make art, now is the perfect time to create art because no because let's be real, nobody wants AI art. Nobody wants AI art shoved down the throat. They want art that somebody made, a human made, a person made, somebody that thought about it and put their creative skills into it rather than letting AI decide their creativity for them. I would argue that actually now is the perfect time to create art. If you want to create art, and I'm not even talking art in just like the like paintings or drawings or whatever. Honestly, if you want to create art in like say for example singing, right? You want to create art in writing, you want to create art in whatever, right? Now is actually the perfect time to do that because nobody wants AI art shoved down the throat. AI writing, AI music, nobody wants that shoved down the throat. They want art that is made by somebody that had a genuine passion behind it, not just somebody that you know typed in a sentence or two and they got something they maybe didn't exactly want, but they got close enough to it, right? They want something that somebody put their time and effort behind, and even if the result may not look like how they want it to, it's something that they're proud of and that they want to share to the world. If any time is a good time to get into art, now is the perfect time to. Thank you.